welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Ellie and I do drama school and university type videos. So if you're interested in that type of content, then keep watching. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a bunch of monologues I've put together that you can use for your drama school auditions or any sort of auditions. They are both male and female monologues, and there's a variety of ages as well. I found nearly all of these monologues and the plays that they're from on a website called Drama Online. When looking for a monologue, there is nothing worse than buying a play and there is no monologue in it. So these plays all definitely have something that you can use for a monologue in them. So let's get started. So the first one is The Effect by Lucy Prebble. The Effect is a clinical romance. Two young volunteers, Tristan and Connie, agree to take part in a clinical drug trial. Succumbing to the gravitational pull of attraction and love, however, Tristan and Connie manage to throw the trial off course, much to the frustration of the clinicians involved. Now, the two monologues I've pulled from this are from the clinicians, and the first one is Dr. Lorna James, who is 47 years old, and the monologue is on page 61, and it starts with, "I was having a tough time quite a few years ago. I'd broken up from a long relationship I'd been in forever, and that was a big decision, and I'd lost a parent after a long time." So the monologue is about her going to this conference, and she has an affair with a married man, and it's basically just her having a revelation about it. The second monologue is from Dr. Toby Seeley, who is 45 years old, and the monologue is on page 28, and it starts with, "I'm Toby, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm afraid. My father was a heart surgeon." It's him talking about psychiatry, his father and their relationship, and also mental health. Now the next play is Lungs by Duncan Macmillan, and this is the edition that I have. Some of the page numbers might be slightly wrong depending on the edition of the play that you're looking at, so just keep that in mind. And I did a monologue from this earlier this week for drama school, which you would have seen me find in my last video. So Lungs is about M and W, a young couple, find themselves examining the scope of their lives together and the world around them when they begin considering starting a family. Now this play is full of loads of chunks of text that can be used for monologues, but these are just two that I've picked out. So there's one from M, and it's on page 57, and it starts, "Are you asleep? I can't sleep." So M is awake and talking to W, contemplating death essentially, and the world and the environment. But it's a really nice speech. And then a monologue from W is on page 34, and it starts, "I could fly to New York and back every day." And W is debating on whether to have a child and the effect on the environment. Again, a really nice monologue. The next play is When They Go Low by Natalie Mitchell. So the description of the play is, "When social media goes into a frenzy over pictures of a girl at a party, Louisa's teacher lectures all the schoolgirls on taking more responsibility for their actions. Enraged that it's them getting reprimanded and not the boys who took the pictures, Louise wages war on the school's systemic misogyny. But then a website appears which objectifies the girls and shames them for their actions, and it explores everyday feminism, consent, and the changing face of teenage sexuality in an online world." So the monologue is in scene 15, page 72, and it's Louisa's character, and the monologue starts, "Hi, I can't pretend I'm not gutted about losing, but you voted Scott to be your new school captain. He won fair and square, so congratulations, Scott. I hope it's worth it. I really do." And she's making a speech to her school. It's near the end of the play, and it's just about what she's learnt about what has happened in the play and being attacked online. So quite a powerful speech about feminism. So the next play is Germ-Free Adolescent, and it's also by Natalie Mitchell. So Ashley is 16. She's lived in Medway for 15 years and 6 months. At 7:48 p.m. tonight, she will have been going out with Ollie for exactly 3 months, which he thinks means it's time to take their relationship to the next level. So it's a fierce, funny, and irreverent OCD love story that asks what exactly is normal anyway. Both characters have a few sections that can be used for monologues. So there's a monologue from Ashley, who is 16, and it's in scene 2, page 14. And it starts, "I spend all afternoon trying to work out how I can avoid going to Ollie's." So she's nervous about going round to her boyfriend's house as she thinks that they will sleep together, and she's scared that her OCD will get in the way. The other monologue is from Ollie, and it's in scene 1, page 9, and it starts, "When me and Ashley first started going out, I got a message off Mike Reed's. Well, it was anonymous, but I knew it was Mike, because he's the only twat who would send me something like that. So it's him talking about liking Ashley and their history at school. The next play is An Intervention by Mike Bartlett. So this play is a two-hander about friendship, its responsibilities and the roles it forces us to play. There are two characters who are A and B, and again there are quite a few chunks of text in this play that can be used for monologues. So there's a monologue from A on scene 3, page 37, and it starts, "You know, she sent me an email, Hannah." So it's her talking about the email, and it's quite funny, and in the email she is recommended to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. I found a second monologue from her that I quite liked. It's in scene 3 on page 32, and it starts, "It was a weird day that we met." So she talks about meeting B for the first time and how they argued and their difference in opinion on the war in the play. Also, there's a monologue from B, and it's in scene 4 on page 43, and it starts, "I've got a friend." He talks about his relationship with his pen pal and the war that's affecting that pen pal and his worries about what has happened to him. The next play is Things I Know to Be True by Andrew Bovell. Bovell? One of those. I have just butchered that. And the plot of Things I Know to Be True follows the story and many struggles of the Price family. The play begins with a monologue from Rosie Price on a European getaway during her gap year. So yeah, it's a quite well-known monologue, but it's so good when done well. It can be so honest and funny. So I wasn't able to get the page number that this is on, but the character is Rosie, and it starts, "I Skype home once a week," and it continues, "When will life start?" and then there he is. So it's her talking about seeing a guy called Emmanuel in a club, and she goes on to talk about being so in love that they don't even leave bed. The next play is One for Sorrow by Cordelia Lynn, and it's a drama about a family who offer refuge to a stranger following an attack on London. So 2 explosions have rocked London, and we hear John's voice as he runs through the city, arrives at a house and asks to be let in. Imogen, who's in her early 20s, has joined a social media campaign offering refuge to victims. There's also some potential monologues from Chloe, but I'm going to be looking at ones from Imogen and John. So Imogen's monologue is in Act 2, Scene 1 on page 72, and Imogen is in her early 20s. The monologue starts, "I'm not angry at all, actually." But then she goes on to talk about her anger at the world. And John's monologue is on Act 2, Scene 1, page 90, and it starts, "This reminds me of something I saw." And he goes on to tell a story about a mother and daughter that he sees in a cafe and his feelings about their exchange with each other. But as I said, there's also good monologues from John and Chloe in the rest of the play, so if that's something you're interested in, then have a look. The next play is In Event of Moon Disaster by Andrew Thompson. It's a family drama about space exploration and its impact on the lives of 3 women across a time span of 80 years. It takes place between 1969 and 2056. So in 1969, a young Sylvia Moon watches the moon landing and longs for someone to sweep her off on an adventure. 2017, she's a crotchety old woman, her memory failing, and her son and daughter-in-law are trying to conceive. In 2055, her granddaughter, also named Sylvia Moon, is preparing to become the first person to set foot on Mars. So it's quite a unique play, and I have a monologue from Sylvia, and the scene is in Part 2, 1969, The Party, page 86, and it starts, "I don't remember it. Isn't that strange?" She's talking to a guy that she likes who's an astronaut, and she slept with him, but she doesn't actually know his name. So it's quite a dreamy, sweet monologue. The other monologue is from Neil, who is Sylvia's son, and the monologue is in Part 1, 2017, Attic, on page 18. And it starts, "I thought I'd go through some of Mum's old pictures." And the monologue is basically him talking about who he thinks his dad is. The last monologue that I have is from Bunny by Jack Thorne. Bunny is a coming-of-age drama for a solo performer that tackles teenage sexuality, racism and gang culture. So it only has one character throughout, called Katie, who is 18 years old. The whole play has loads of potential monologues because it's just Katie speaking, but I picked one that I have heard someone do and I thought it was really good and funny. So the monologue is on page 16, and it starts, "When it came to applying to university." She then goes on to talk about her university rejections and her relationship with her dad. And yeah, as I said, it's just a really funny monologue. So those are all the monologues that I have found. If you are looking for more monologue suggestions, then I do have a video on contemporary monologues and also a video on Shakespeare monologues. If you have thought of a monologue that I have not mentioned, then put it down in the comments below and you may help someone out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you are new. So I will see you in the next video. Bye!